Welcome back, class. So in the last lecture we learned about one very important property of the continuous time LTI system, which was the convolution. And we have learned that how using the graphical form we can convolve the two signals. Okay, we have seen the different properties. Now in this chapter we are briefly going to see the some more properties of the convolution, and then we are going to study focus on the properties of the LTI system. Okay, remember in the chapter 2 we learned the properties of the CT, continuous time system. Now we are going to focus on the properties of the linear time invariant system. So our system is already invariant, our system is already linear. Okay, we are going to check the other properties of the system. That is the focus of this part of lecture. So the convolution properties is the cumulative properties, like we have studied earlier, that whether you convolve x of t with h of the impulse response, or you convolve the impulse response with input, you will get the same results. This is the commutative property. Okay. The associative property is, for example, we have input x of t and there are two impulse responses system. Okay. So the one way is that you convolve x of t with the h1 of t and you get one output. Okay, like here. Then you convolve this output, okay, with this second impulse response. Okay, finally, so that you can get this y of t. This is the one way. Okay, the other way is, first you convolve x of t with h of t, then this product is being convolved with x1, you get output. Or the third way is that you convolve only these two impulse systems first. Okay, like h1 of t is convolved with h2 of t, and then finally those are being convolved with x of t and you are getting your output. Okay, so we can get the desired output, okay, by like the different combination. This is called associative property of the convolution. Okay, and then the last property is distributive property. Distributive property is like the two impulse response and they are being added. Okay, so the one way is first convolve this with this one. Okay, and then you convolve this with this one, and then you add both of them, so you can get your output. The other way is first you just add them, okay, and then convolve this together and you will get the output. So this is the distributive property. Okay, now I'm coming to the major properties, the main part of the lecture, which is the LTI system properties. So the first property is, remember the LTI system is already time invariant and linear. So we are going to study about the remaining properties. The first one is memoryless. So the memoryless system is that the current values of the output depends on the current values of the input. Memoryless system property, okay, right? The current value of output will depend on current value of input. Okay, that is a basic property of the memoryless system. Okay, or in mathematical form we can say that, okay, that the impulse response, let's say an LTI system has impulse response. Okay, so impulse response will be existing only at t is equal to 0. Okay, for all other cases, okay, it will be 0 for all other cases. Okay, it will be existing only at t is equal to 0. Why? Because impulse exists only at t is equal to 0. Okay, so that is the then our system will be memoryless. Okay, causal, okay, that the impulse response is existing only for the positive value of the t. Okay, the system existing only after when we are starting the system at this is t is equal to 0. So system response will be obtained only for the positive value of the t. If the we are getting negative value of the t, our impulse response will be 0. Okay, like the basic property of the physical system. Okay, that the system out will be only obtained if and only if when we supply the input, and we are supplying the input at t is equal to 0 or the for the positive value of the t. Okay, this is the causality property. Invertibility, okay, invertibility as we have discussed earlier on, okay, like if we have a system h of t, and if I have inverse h1 of t, okay, for example, if the input is we have the study about the amplifier system, this is the amplifier, and then its inverse is 1 over k. So in the final case this will be cancelled out, and our output will be input. So if we can obtain the output in the form of input, our system will be invertible, okay. Or if you are supplying two different inputs, okay, and you are getting distinct outputs, our system will be invertible, okay. So this is the basic property of the LTI system in the form of the impulse responses. Stability, LTI system will be stable if and only if, okay, now we are talking about the impulse response. So if you integrate the magnitude of the impulse response and that is less than the infinity value, your system will be stable. If you integrate your impulse response magnitude and it is less than infinity, your system will be stable. For example, let's say this is my input and I want to check whether this is bipostable or not. So what is the condition I have to satisfy? I have to integrate the magnitude of this one, okay, with respect to dt, okay. So because we have a unit step here, so unit step will change the integration limit from 0 to infinity, so it will become e to the power minus 3t into dt, right? So if you just integrate, so it will be e to the power minus 3t divided by minus 3, 0 to infinity, or minus 1 over 3 e to the power minus infinity minus e to the power 0. So e to the power minus infinity will be 0, e to the power 0 will be 1, so 1 over 3. So this magnitude value is less than infinity, so this impulse response is bipostable, okay. So practice this, okay. If the impulse response is unit step, it will be stable or not, okay. I have another example for you for practice. Let's say this is my input, okay, positive 3t. Let's say this is the impulse response. So this LTI system will be stable with this impulse response or not, okay. So check. So we will also solve this during the live session, okay. So these are the basic properties of the LTI system, okay. Then there is two more brief topics which we want to just check. So we have seen that if our input is impulse, we are calling this impulse response, okay. So like we have seen in chapter 2, if our input is unit step, we have some system and this is my output, so this will call unit step response, okay, or step response. If my input is unit step, I will call that step response, okay. And in the convolution form, we know that we can write that this is my x of tau into shifted impulse response into d of tau, and this is my output convolution form. Now what is actually happening here? This is unit step, so this will become u of tau for h of t minus tau into d tau. So the output will be a step response, so we represent using step response using s of t, okay. So because of the unit step, the integration limit will become 0 to infinity, because unit step only exists for this time interval 0 to infinity. So it will be h of t minus tau into d tau. So basically step response can be calculated by just integrating the impulse response from 0 to infinity, okay. And if our system is causal means our system is existing only for t greater than 0 period, okay. So in that case this can be simplified to 0 to t h of tau into d tau. So that will be our step response, okay. Or if you take a derivative in this side, okay, if you take the derivative of the step response, we can get the impulse response, because if you just take the derivative here, derivative will cancel out the integration in both sides, okay. So the derivative of the step response is the impulse response, okay. So this is the basic properties for the calculation of the step response of the system, okay. Then if you want to go for this system response for the complex input, so far we have studied about if our input is impulse or unit step, we can get the system response. What if our input are not impulse, So not only just unit step, whatever inputs are in the complex form. Okay, so if our input is in the complex form, okay, so there are some problems with the equation, so let me write here. So we know that our general form, okay, is x of, for example, t minus tau into h of tau. This is the general convolution formula, okay, for any input. Okay, now let's say if our input is this one, okay, this complex. So in this case it will become like minus infinity to infinity e to power j omega t minus tau into h of tau into data, right? So a is just the magnitude. So this system we are in a tau form, so I can take e to power j omega t out of the integral. So I will have e to power minus infinity power minus j omega tau into h of tau into data. So this will be my input output for the input of this one. So basically this thing is called frequency response of the system. Okay, so I can basically write that y of t is the input times the frequency response of the system. So frequency response we can calculate by multiplying e to power minus j omega tau with the impulse response. That will be our frequency response of the system. Okay, so what we learned from here, okay, if you have any impulse response, just calculate its frequency response. Okay, then simply multiply that frequency response with your input. So whatever input you are having, just multiply that input with your frequency response and you will get the output. This is called frequency response. This is also called transfer function of the system. Okay, transfer function, like you have in the input, this is the frequency response or transfer function, and you are getting the output. Transfer function is called the ratio of the output over input. Okay, so from this equation you can see that y of t is the, if you just take the ratio of the output over input, you will get the frequency response of the transfer function of the system. So the idea is, if you have any kind of the impulse, okay, just calculate its frequency response. Then whatever input you are having, impulse, unit step, complex, sine, cosine, triangular, whatever, just multiply that with the frequency response and you will get your output. Okay, so this is the properties for the complex inputs. Okay, we will solve the examples. Okay, this example we will solve during the live session. Okay, so here what we are having, so this is actually the end of this lecture, and see you inshallah in the live session. We will solve the last example in the live session. Thank you very much for your time.